Overcoming insecurity, a practical roadmap to self-assurance. Have you ever felt that quiet voice of doubt? That feeling of not being quite good enough, no matter what you achieve? The constant worry about what others think of you? This feeling is a universal human experience. It is a quiet prison, a heavy chain that holds us back from taking risks, from chasing our dreams, and from truly being ourselves. This feeling is called insecurity. Insecurity is more than just a lack of confidence. It is a deeper feeling of self-doubt that can sabotage our relationships, our careers, and our happiness. It makes us feel like we are always on the verge of being exposed. It keeps us small. But what if you could change that? What if you could build a foundation of self-worth so strong that it could not be shaken? What if you could learn to silence that inner critic and live a life of courage and purpose? Today, we are going to explore a practical, step-by-step roadmap to overcoming insecurity. This is not about magically becoming a different person overnight. This is about building a new set of habits. This is about training your mind for strength. Our journey will be guided by powerful principles. We will draw on the ancient wisdom of Stoicism, which teaches us how to find peace and strength from within. We will also use the strategic thinking of Napoleon Hill, who understood that confidence is a muscle built through action and purpose. Get ready to free yourself from the chains of self-doubt. Let's begin. The problem. What is insecurity? Let's first understand what insecurity truly is. It is not a character flaw. It is a state of mind. It is a mental habit of questioning your own value. The roots of insecurity are often in our past. A painful memory, a negative comment from a parent or a teacher, a feeling of not fitting in. Over time, these experiences can become a story we tell ourselves, a story of not being good enough. This story creates a series of destructive behaviors. You may find yourself constantly comparing yourself to others on social media. You may find yourself procrastinating on an important project out of a fear of failure. You may find yourself people-pleasing, always trying to win the approval of others. Insecurity is the fear of not being loved or not being worthy. It is the belief that your value is tied to external things, like your job, your appearance, or the opinions of others. This is a very dangerous place to be. When your sense of self-worth is a hostage to external approval, you are not truly free. You are always at the mercy of others. Let's first understand the true nature of insecurity. It is not a character flaw. It is a state of mind. It is a persistent, nagging feeling of self-doubt. It is the belief that you are not worthy or capable, even when all the evidence points to the contrary. Insecurity is that voice that constantly questions your value. It whispers to you that you are not smart enough for that job, not attractive enough for that person, or not talented enough for that project. It is a voice that is often rooted in our past, a painful memory, a harsh comment from a parent or a teacher, a feeling of being left out as a child. Over time, these experiences can become a story we tell ourselves, a story of not being enough. This story creates a series of destructive behaviors. You may find yourself constantly comparing yourself to others on social media. You may find yourself being a people pleaser, always saying yes to everyone because you are terrified of rejection. You may find yourself with a deep fear of failure, leading procrastination, and a refusal to take risks. You may find yourself being overly critical of others as a way to feel better about yourself. All of these behaviors are symptoms of a deeper problem. The most dangerous thing about insecurity is that it makes your sense of self-worth a hostage to external things. Your value becomes tied to your job title, your bank account, your appearance, or the opinions of others. This is a dangerous trap. When your self-esteem is dependent on outside approval, you are not truly free. You are always at the mercy of others. You are always seeking validation. The first step to overcoming any problem is to understand it. We must stop seeing our insecurity as a permanent part of who we are. We must see it for what it is, a mental habit, a negative thought pattern that can be changed. The first step, acknowledging and understanding. You cannot defeat an enemy you do not know. The first step to overcoming insecurity is to observe it. You must become aware of that inner critic. You must hear the things it says to you. The key here is to observe without judgment. Do not try to fight the negative thought. Do not get angry at yourself for having it. Just notice it. Think of it like this. Your mind is a sky and your thoughts are clouds. A negative thought like, I'm not good enough for this is just a cloud passing by. You do not need to grab onto it. You do not need to believe it. You can simply watch it drift away. This idea is deeply rooted in Stoicism. The Stoics knew that a thought is just a thought. It is not reality. Your power lies in how you choose to respond to that thought. A great practical tool for this is journaling. Take 10 minutes each day to write down your thoughts. Write down your fears. Write down the things you are worried about. The simple act of putting your thoughts on paper takes away their power. It shows you that they are just words. They are not facts. By acknowledging your insecurity, you are taking the first step out of the prison. You are beginning to see the walls for what they are. There are 3 techniques to overcome insecurity. Technique 1, building an unshakable foundation. True confidence is not an emotion. It is a quiet sense of self-worth that comes from a strong foundation. You can build this foundation with consistent, intentional action. The power of self-talk. Your inner dialogue is the most important conversation you have all day. Insecurity is a constant stream of negative self-talk. To overcome it, you must consciously and deliberately change that conversation. When you notice your inner critic saying something negative, you must challenge it. Ask yourself, is this true? What is the evidence for this thought? Most of the time, there is no evidence. Then, you must replace that negative thought with a more positive, more realistic one. This is not about fake optimism. This is about reframing. Instead of, I'm not good at this, you can say, I am learning and every attempt is a step forward. Your words have power. Use them to build yourself up, not tear yourself down. The Napoleon Hill method, definite major purpose. Insecurity thrives in a lack of direction. When you don't know what you are doing, it is easy to doubt yourself. Napoleon Hill knew that a definite major purpose was the key to all success. This is a clear, powerful, and specific goal that you are passionate about. When you have a strong purpose, your life has meaning. This purpose gives you a reason to push past your doubts. Your insecurity begins to feel small and insignificant next to your big, powerful goal. You stop worrying about what others think. You become focused on what you need to do to achieve your purpose. A life of purpose is a life of action. A life of action is a life without time for self-doubt. Taking small, consistent actions. Insecurity often comes from a feeling of inadequacy. The cure for this feeling is a track record of success. You must prove to yourself that you are capable. Start with small, achievable goals. Do not try to change your entire life in a day. Instead, set a small goal. For example, I will exercise for 15 minutes today, or I will write 1 page of my report. Achieve that goal. Celebrate that small victory. Every time you take a small action and succeed, you are building confidence. You are proving to yourself that you are reliable. These small, consistent actions build a solid foundation of self-worth that no one can take away from you. Technique 2, the Stoics' Guide to External Opinion. A major source of insecurity is the fear of judgment, the fear of not being good enough in the eyes of others. The Stoics had a brilliant solution for this. The dichotomy of control. This is perhaps the most important Stoic principle. You can divide everything in the world into 2 categories. Things you can control and things you cannot control. You can control your thoughts. You can control your actions. You can control your effort. You cannot control what others think. You cannot control their opinions. Insecurity is often a result of focusing on the things you cannot control. You spend your energy worrying about what others think. This is a waste of time and energy. It is an act of surrendering your power to others. The key is to focus all of your energy on the things you can control. Focus on being a good person. Focus on doing your best work. When you do this, the opinions of others become irrelevant. Your self-worth is no longer a hostage. It is a fortress. The fear of failure. Insecurity often prevents us from taking risks. We are so afraid of failure that we do not even try. We believe that a failure reflects on our personal worth. The Stoics viewed things differently. For them, failure was not defeat, but a lesson to be learned. In their eyes, the real failure was refusing to act or to try. They considered setbacks an essential step along the path. Embrace failure as feedback. When you fail at something, you do not say, I am a failure. You say, That method did not work. I will try something new. This changes your relationship with risk. It makes you a more resilient person. It allows you to move forward. The practice of indifference. The Stoics believe that your self-worth should not be dependent on the praise or criticism of others. They practice a kind of indifference. This does not mean being cold or uncaring. It means not letting your inner state be swayed by external opinion. When someone praises you, you do not let it go to your head. When someone criticizes you, you do not let it crush you. Your value is not in their words. Your value is in your own character. It is in your own actions. This kind of self-possession is a powerful antidote to insecurity. Technique 3. The role of action and courage. Ultimately, insecurity is an idea. You cannot think your way out of it. You must act your way out of it. Action as the antidote. Procrastination and avoidance are symptoms of insecurity. They are the result of fear. The antidote is action. You do not need to feel confident to act. You must act to build confidence. Start with a small action, a tiny step. Call that person you have been avoiding. Send that email you have been putting off. Go to that social event that makes you nervous. Each time you take a small, courageous action, you are showing your brain that the fear was not real. You are proving to yourself that you are stronger than your fear. This creates a powerful feedback loop. The more you act, the more confident you become. The habit of courage. Courage is not a character trait. It is a habit. You build it by repeatedly taking small, uncomfortable steps. Courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is being afraid and doing it anyway. This is a skill you can train. Like a muscle, every day, choose one small thing that makes you a little uncomfortable. Do it. Over time, these small acts of courage will build into a solid foundation of confidence. You will stop needing to feel confident to act. You will just act. Finding your mastermind group. Napoleon Hill believed that success was a team sport. He knew the power of surrounding yourself with supportive, like-minded individuals. A mastermind group is a small group of people who share a common goal. They can be a powerful antidote to insecurity. They can provide accountability. They can provide positive reinforcement. They can see your potential when you cannot see it yourself. Surround yourself with people who believe in you, people who lift you up, people who challenge you to be better. This external support can be a powerful force against the internal voice of self-doubt. The path to an unshakable self. Insecurity is not a permanent state. It is a mental habit that can be changed. It is a story you have been telling yourself, and you have the power to change that story. True confidence is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to act in the face of fear. It is the quiet knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way. It is a feeling that is earned through small, consistent acts of courage. It is not something you are born with. It is something you build brick by brick. Your past does not define you. Your fears do not define you. Your value is not determined by the opinions of others. Your value comes from within. It arises from your integrity, the choices you make, and your steadfast dedication to leading a life driven by meaning. The path to an unshakable self is not a single, grand leap. It is a series of small, consistent steps. It is a commitment to a new way of thinking and acting. It's about training your mind, just like you would train your body. Remember the tools we've discussed. The power of observation. You are not your thoughts. You are the observer of your thoughts. The power of action. Action is the antidote to fear. You don't have to wait for confidence to strike. You act and the confidence follows. The power of purpose. A clear, definite purpose gives your life direction. It gives you a reason to push past your self-doubt. The power of control. Focus on what you can control. Let go of the rest. Your self-worth is not a hostage to the opinions of others. The path to an unshakable self begins now. It begins with a single step. It begins with a choice to observe your insecurity without judgment, a choice to take a small, courageous action, a choice to focus on what you can control. The final word, insecurity is not your identity. It is a temporary feeling. It is a habit of mind, and you have the power to change it. Your journey to an unshakable self begins now. Insecurity is not a permanent state. It is a mental habit that can be changed. It is a story you have been telling yourself. And you, and only you, have the power to change that story. True confidence is not the absence of fear. It is a willingness to act in the face of fear. It is the quiet, unshakable knowing that you can handle whatever comes your way. It is a feeling that is earned through small, consistent acts of courage. It is not something you are born with. It is something you build brick by brick. The goal is not to be perfect. The goal is not to be loved by everyone. The goal is to be authentic, to live a life guided by your own values, not by the opinions of others. The path to an unshakable self begins now. It begins with a single step. It begins with a choice to observe your insecurity without judgment, a choice to take a small, courageous action, a choice to focus on what you can control. What is one small, courageous action you will take today to overcome your insecurity? Let us know in the comments below. Keep growing and start living a life of purpose. Your journey to an unshakable self begins now.